What's up, ladies and gentlemen? The one and only Dog Waters. I'm back online to give you guys a quick update. So, this is addressing members of the website IamDogwaters.com. Give you guys an idea of what's going on, what's about to happen in the next 24 hours. So, I've went through and found every account on the back end that's your transaction is not being tracked in the system. So, over the next 24, 48 hours, you're going to see emails hitting your account. And that email is going to say, you've been added to the system. It's going to be like, oh, here's your updated password. Here's this. And it'll be your email address as a username, as well as your login name. You can go in and change all that later. But you'll see that happen. You'll see that email. And then after that, it should be a couple of hours after that before everything is completely fixed inside of the system for you to access at will. It's I've been working with developers to fix the problem because it was a major problem. It's an IPN address problem, where the old system, your original payment is tracked in the old system with the old system software's URLs, and it doesn't transfer to the new system. So I had to work with developers to fix it. With that being said, I'm almost there where I have it fixed. And upon having it fixed, I really feel comfortable, like really going in. I don't like the fact that I get emails from people saying, hey, I can't get in the system. And I just I'm shutting all this stuff down until we get it done. So that's what I've been working on. That's been about 15 days with the developers getting it fixed. And so we are there. So the import should be happening later today. I'm waiting on a word from one of the developers to tell me to hit the import button. And he's going through checking all the details of what I'm going to import to make sure that it's a one-time import, and then we're off to the races. Outside of that, once we have all our members in, then I can really get down to work. You have to excuse all the construction sounds in the background. There's some work going on. Once I have all my members in, then we can really get down to business, because there's things I wanted to do for members where there were live call-in shows, live streams, and it's all planned out and scheduled out. I just didn't want to start. And then other people be like, man, I wanted to be there. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be in there and I didn't get in there. And then I have to stop and then go back and fix things individually, which is impossible. Because the way it works is if I fix it for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, at the end of that 90 days, the system goes back into doing what it was doing. That's what a lot of people have that's what a lot of people have experienced. And so been hammering away at it. We're almost there and we're almost done. If you haven't had a chance, if you are a member and you have access and you see all the books that are there for you, I'm having a program work to where we reduce the load time, and then we're going back through. And one of the issues that we ran into was that load time was extremely long, because when the videos loaded, they all loaded at the same time. They all started playing at the same time. So we got that fixed to where when it loads, the load time will be extremely fast. A lot of those books are going to come off that front page though, because those images are very heavy. So I'll probably put a link where it says, hey, click here for books, and then it'll take you to a book page where you can open any PDF book and read it. It should be 4 there by the end of March. You should have 10 there, maybe 8, but it should be 10. And so you're getting those things before they even go to the marketplace. You'll get the next comic book, which is 2 comic books that's going to hit. The original comic book, Siege of Lagan Ranch, is going to hit. Well, it'll be 3. Siege of Lagan Ranch, then the Story of Jolan, which is one of my favorite Native American stories I've been told. Then the Story of Roger and Steve comic book is going to hit there for you guys as well. Once that hits, then all those people who've been waiting, your comic books go out in the mail to you, and boom, done deal. One thing you can count on me is I don't break my word. That's why I don't give my word many times to people, because I don't break it. Because once I give it, I'm like obsessed with making whatever I say come true. So, final thing, if you haven't if you're not a member and you want to read a book, I've decided that I'm doing what's called Forever Books on Kindle. And so if you purchase anything from me on Kindle, or if you read anything by me on Kindle Unlimited, you'll notice that every 30 days, whoa, what was that? What just happened? Okay. you'll notice that every 30 days there's an updated story in those books. So, for example, the Siege of Lock and Ranch book that's on Kindle right now just got updated with all the photographs that go with the book. Um, and next month is another update and another update. So everything that I'm putting out, even though it's a little bit more strenuous to do all that work, I'm constantly going to be updating stuff because nobody does it. So eventually you end up, the book that was, I don't know, 75 pages ends up being 400 pages of stories, because that's how much content I have that comes into me story wise. There's going to be, primarily right now, I'm focused on Bigfoot. I want to swing into some of the Dogman stories that I have that I've never told, which I feel like are way better for a book format. And I know people will be more comfortable with me sharing them in a book format than them interviewing and talking about them. So those will come there. And the promotion for those are going to be narrated stories here on YouTube for book promotion. So if you don't buy, you're still going to hear some of the stories. I'm trying to think of anything else. That's about it. That's all I got for you guys. I'm trying my best to get this squared away. What's up, Mr. X Dreams? I haven't seen you in a while, homie. I'm trying to get it all squared away for you guys as fast as possible in between all the other drama that I have to deal with. Recently, I had to go back with my dad down to the oncologist because I don't know if I told you guys, my dad had prostate cancer, and so he beat it through radiation, but we had to go back just to do some checks on him and things of that nature. So had to deal with that. He's perfectly fine, awesome sauce, back out on a boat fishing, doing what he does. But I'm working through all those various things to make it happen. So, and as you guys know, anytime I go missing, I always come back bigger, better, and stronger. And so when I get quiet, you know, it's some beautiful things popping. You'll see. You'll see. So I'm going to probably release a little bit more of that wolf story today, which is in a short format, because the shorts allow me to use the music that actually suits that story. And then from there, we're back off to the races. We're back kicking butt. I hope everybody's doing well. I told my dad stories when I first got on YouTube a long time ago. His stories out of Mississippi with giant water moccasins and shadow men when he was a kid. I told those a long time ago. Um, and then I told like a lot of my family stories when I first started. So there, it's out there. A lot of that content is out there. So we'll be off to the races soon. I wanted to holler at you guys and let you guys know what the dealio is and where I'm at and what's going down. I know Baron addressed it yesterday, but I wanted to address it myself, especially for the members. Now, if you go to iamdogwaters.com, you'll notice that it's a button that says for members, click here. And that it's slightly inconvenient for you because it's got in order for me to get you guys in the system, there's a forwarding mechanism that forwards that old data. So you got to go through there. But once you just hit the button in the middle of the screen, it's going to take you to the website you've been used to logging into. Bada bing, bada boom, you're off to the races. But I'm using that as a landing page that'll evolve over time and just promote everything else that we have going on. So we're making it happen slowly but surely. But I wanted to let you guys know that's where I am. That's what's going down. That's what we're dealing with. And I appreciate each and every person who has a membership. I appreciate each and every person who listens to content. I appreciate the people who reach out to me about phone and be like, hey, man, I'm making sure you're all right. You ain't dead. Everything is Gucci. I mean, it's actually really going really well. I'm trying to do a deal with Jeff Nadalmi. If the system will allow me to, it's giving us problems. So Jeff Nadalmi to be the narrator for books on Audible. So I'm going to work on that a little bit today, get with him. And then I anticipate by the end of the year with everything that I have, probably will hit the range of 50 to 70 books on Kindle. And then as those books hit the right mark of pages, then then I'll start working on details of getting those paperback books out. But we're off to the races. We're really off to the races. My dad already beat the cancer, Vinny. He doesn't have cancer right now. we were just going through some checkups. You know, when a person has prostate cancer, what ends up happening is you get radiation, you get these strictures on your bladder when your prostate is removed. And so they remove the prostate, connect the bladder directly to the urethra where your urine comes out directly to the bladder. And every now and then it'll close up to where you can't urinate because of the radiation and the scarring that's there. And so that's what he went through. And so we had to make sure everything was good. So we all good, Playboy. Again, I want you guys to know how much I appreciate you. And I thank each and every one of you guys for being on the In the Dark Waters family and handling your business. I'll be back soon. Peace. Oh, also, D. Dawson's book is out called Oklahoma Bigfoot Files. If you're on Kindle Unlimited, just type in Oklahoma Bigfoot Files. That's kind of fire. I read it before he put it out. He got, he's been a field investigator in Oklahoma a long time. And some of those stories are just wicked. Some of the things that he saw and shared, I mean, they're all wicked stories. So I've been a person who said this for a long time. I've said that we here on YouTube, when I say we here on YouTube, the people who are like actively hands-on with talking to eyewitnesses, whether it be a Vic Cundiff, whether it be a me, whether it be a Jeff Nadalmi, whether it be a Josh Turner, we actually have our hands in the soil of what happens, knowledge-wise, content-wise. It's just that we don't transition from one platform to the next. And I've encouraged people to do it. I told people they should do it, and nobody listens. They be like, I'm gonna do it. Well, whatever, I'm gonna do it. And so you'll see me transitioning through multiple platforms over the course of this 12 months. Not necessarily, and what I mean by transitioning, I don't mean not being on YouTube. What I mean is kind of spreading your wings across multiple platforms, because at the end of the day, that's the only way that the people who have the real experience, whether you be a field researcher, whether you be an investigator, that's the only way you get to a point where your name and brand is big enough to where when someone's looking for an expert or a quote unquote expert, I tell people all the time, I ain't no expert, nothing, but a quote unquote authority in the field, that's the only time they will actually see you as an authority in anything. So when the TV show says, I want to talk to somebody about Dogman, you can have a podcast, you can have a YouTube channel, but if you don't have the total package, then, I mean, they don't look at you in that manner. And so if we're to dictate the narratives about the field that we're in, everybody in the field has to get bigger, better, faster, stronger. And unfortunately, hold on, man, because this shit is getting worse. And unfortunately, in our field, a lot of energy goes towards, there we go. Unfortunately, in our field, a lot of the energy goes towards tearing down instead of building. Whether it be the Bigfoot community, the Dogman community, there's so much energy that goes into tearing each other down out of jealousy and spite and all the rest of this. If that same energy went into actually building yourself up or building other people up, that strife at that base level of, oh, I know this person, I know that person, I got to be with this clique, I got to be with that clique, it does not exist, because as a group, you are one clique that has a greater level of competition that you're competing against. So it's like if the people over here on YouTube are competing with each other and beefing with each other, there's no way you take on the Joe MC, my mom is literally in an operation right now, removing cancer out of her body. Glad Pops is okay. And praying for y'all. All right, Joe, we'll say a prayer about that before we get off. And so if we as a group, and it doesn't matter, like I'll go do it on my own. I don't really give a damn. I mean, that's how I've been in my whole life. I'm gonna go do it. People can beef out with me all they want. I'm gonna go do that, But if the group as a whole says, all right, we're going to get our stuff together and then compete with the outside group, outside entities, you'll see this level of magic happen. And I do mean it because it literally seems like it's magic as that attention turns towards a common goal. But as long as people are here trying to shoot, stab, and cut each other and box with each other over nothing, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I say box it out, stab it out, shoot it out all y'all want. But I got other things to do. It's just stupid at the end of the day. It's extremely dumb at the end of the day when you have all, as a collective, you have all the knowledge that every other outside entity needs in order for them to be successful at what they're doing. So every TV show that's out there that's doing something on cryptids, they need you. You have the eyewitness that you can bring to the show. How do I know? Because I've sent them. You have the knowledge that they need for locations and details. How do I know? Because I know location managers for Ghost Adventures and on Travel Channel. You have all of that information. All the thing they bring to the table is some bread. I mean, that's legit. All they bring to the table is some paper and a few connections with networks. At the end of the day, you take some of the biggest. Let's just take the creepypasta community, for example. That community is huge. I remember a couple of years ago um, saying when I first came in, I remember trying to talk to them, and when I was doing business with them, doing it on contracts, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's all about business. He's all about money because he wants me to sign a contract." I didn't realize that those guys were teenagers at that point in time, and they had no clue what I was talking about. But if you take that community, how it's grown to where it is now, and you look at it from 10 years ago or 7 years ago, then you can, over the past 6 years, you saw where someone else tapped into what they created and hijacked it. They did like a movie or a TV show called Creepy Stories to Tell in the Dark or Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And it was a TV show, or maybe it was an Amazon, maybe it had been a movie, but that was directly jacked from those kids. So with those kids, because they were all kids at that point in time. And by kid, I mean, I'm 46. They were, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That whole movement that they started, like Mr. Nightmare, Mr. X Dreams was in that. Swamp Dweller was in that movement. Darkness Prevails was in that movement. And forgive me, guys, I don't remember everybody's name because I just stopped screwing with y'all altogether. I didn't keep up with it, but that whole movement that they created, like they legit created a whole movement, was hijacked, and it was taken over. It was taken over, and it was moved and monetized in a massive direction without them. But what they did was they hijacked the name, they hijacked the energy, and so for 7 years, you've been programming people to listen to creepy stories to tell in the dark, right? And then wham, they just say, well, there's a marketplace out here for this product. And they look at the number of subscribers that watch it. I mean, one of the bigger guys has 2 million. It's probably subscriber wise, that whole genre probably shows 15 million subscribers. So they look at it and say, man, this is a $15 million market. I mean, $50 million subscriber marketplace at $3. That's a significant amount of money. You know what I'm saying? That's $45 million at $3 that we can tap into. So what can we produce? We know we're not gonna make our 45 mil, but what can we produce at a cheap budget that maybe we can produce or we can tap into and make 10 mil off of what they've built? And that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? So it's what's in the process of happening here to us. I see it coming and I don't like it. And I try to address it. But the best way to address it is just, since everybody wants to argue and fight and be stupid, just go out there and go deal with it yourself. And so I'll be out there when you guys get ready in the community. I'll be there. And here's what I can say to you when I'm there. When I'm there and they come, I'm gonna come get you. Even if you talk reckless about me, even if you did stupid stuff, I'm still gonna come get you. And there we go. and break bread with you, because I believe that the value is where you are. The intelligence, insight is where you are, not where they want us to be, or not with them. So I say all that to say, um, this community has a lot that it could do, and it's using the word community. It's kind of a, it's not really what you should say, because it's not really a community. It's like many fiefdoms and kingdoms that beef out and fight. Um, and it's maybe it's for the better because the weak get, beaten out of the equation. But either way it goes, I'm telling you what I'm doing, and I'm already doing it. So for those who are members who rock with me, trust me, stick with me. I don't really know how to lose. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't trying to be like, I ain't being arrogant. I don't do well with losing anything. So I'll climb through a window, I'll cut through your roof, I'll knock a wall down and get what I want. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna get there. My homie, Godson, what's up, big homie? But X Dreams was there. He's in the chat. X knows. That's exactly what happened. That was 6 years ago, bro. That was a massive movement that was completely hijacked. I mean, it was completely hijacked by the production studios. And here's the thing: you can't even blame legit. You can't, like, people want to like blame like a production studio or a travel channel or a TV producer or a movie producer. Oh, well, they stole this. No, you didn't protect that. You didn't do your part to protect that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't do what you needed to do. And here's the insane thing about that. And this is not me talking negative about that group of people. This is just me using them as an example. Here's the most insane thing about that group. As of right now, that same group of creepypasta narrators, which everybody know I don't get along with them, but that don't mean that I'm gonna just like talk bad about them. But that same group still has that same power. They still have that power to this day to transcend and do something massive. I mean, ignorant, to the point to where they can consolidate that whole genre across the world, not just on YouTube, across the world, because their audience is from across the world. Their demographics are from across the entire planet as a combined group of people. It's just, at the end of the day, that requires men to sit down and be men. You know what I'm saying? And therein lies the problem. You got to be able to sit down with a person that you don't really care about and still have a conversation with them and still be respectful and say, look, man, me and you don't get along, but for this purpose, we're going to be allies. Now, if this going to be an issue for you, you need to tell me, because I don't want you trying to stab me in my back, 10 months from now. If this going to be an issue, let's chop it up now. Let's resolve our issue to where we get to a place of mutual respect, to where we can make this thing happen. And let's figure out if we can do that now. If we can't do it, that's cool. I ain't mad at you. We go back to being what we was being. Two separate entities, two separate powerhouses, two separate things, and keep on doing what we're doing and compete that way. But you still sit at the table and hold those conversations. And if you can work it out, you work it out. If you can't work it out, then so what? We didn't work it out. Whatever, go about your business. I ain't mad at you. I'm gonna keep it moving. But that's what it requires. That's a level of maturity. And a level of discipline that it requires to actually do those things. So that's what we are, Dark Orders family, as I address you. And if you've been with me from the beginning, if you go back and listen to earlier content, I have done everything I said I was going to do. I mean, if you go back and listen to old content, I'm sitting there saying, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do books. I'm going to do comic books. I'm going to do this. And I'm saying, man, this YouTube thing is a trap. I'm going to go ahead and branch off of YouTube and make sure that, because the content is not yours, blah, 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 blah. I'm saying I'm going to build my own infrastructure. I said all those things and I did them. So now I'm telling you what's coming next, and I'm going to do it just like I did that. I think it's going to happen faster because I don't have all the extra baggage that I had that slows me down with drama and bull crap. But nonetheless, we still going to bust a move. You know what I'm saying? All right, Dark Waters, do you give dreams and out-of-body experiences any play? Not really. I talk about dreams and out-of-body experiences more so on interviews than anything. And it's kind of related to the question that's asked. Like I did an interview with Whiskey and Beer podcast a couple of nights ago, and we kind of got into um doppelgangers and the differences between somebody seeing something demonic and then somebody actually seeing their own guardian angel, which looks exactly like them except for it's beefed up on like a steroid version of yourself. And so those kind of things, stories come out during conversations as opposed to me just running doing the stories on them. Now on the website, there's plenty of stuff about out of body experiences, but here on YouTube, you're going to primarily get cryptids because it's the only thing that plays here on YouTube. It's the only thing that gets views here on YouTube. When you go to the website, you'll find stuff about out of body experiences, NDEs. You find all those things because there's some stories that come my way about out of body experiences, bad dreams, nightmares, NDEs that are really, really good. And I want to produce that. But if you really, really want to mess with stuff like that, X is right. That kind of stuff is Mr. X Dreams' thing. Vivid dreams, nightmares, out of body experiences. That's kind of his niche in the marketplace, and he's phenomenal at it. One of the greatest artists I've ever seen as it pertains to just doing art live on stream. So, all right, that iced coffee is going. Let's see. Your words are like Don King, Eagle Eye Sherry. I talk too much. Well, Eagle Eye Sherry, sweetie. There's plenty of extremes you could be in. All right, let's see who else we got. Let's see. All right, I don't see any questions. Anybody got any questions? No questions. No concernions. We're gonna make it happen, Calvin. But that's what we are, guys. We are in another expansion phase. How do you feel about a channel for research to hash out their differences to work towards a common goal? Corey Ross. I think there should be a place where the latest thing going on right now is the Mark Zasky Kerry Arnold camp thing that's like going on, right? It's one of those things where conversations need to be had privately amongst the parties that that played pivotal roles in that legacy. And then if it can't be handled privately, then it has to be hammered out publicly, right? And then there should be a place for people to sit down and have conversations. Absolutely. The issue with that is someone has to broker those conversations. Like, for example, Josh Turner was trying to broker a conversation between me and Vic Cundiff. I agreed. He said Vic didn't. But in order for that position, Josh has influence, but Josh doesn't have the muscle to actually bring that conversation to the table. It has to be somebody bigger. It has to be an incentive for people to come to the table to talk. So you put an incentive in the middle for somebody to talk, then people come to the table to talk. So part of it is understanding how to get people to sit down. Part of it is sometimes having the muscle to make people sit down. Just a regular channel without the muscle behind it, all it's going to end up turning into is a bunch of mess. You know what I'm saying? There has to be muscle. There has to be strength behind the person that's bringing a sit down to the table. No different than in the streets down here when we have sits. The reason why people sit down is because there's a third party that has more muscle that brings everybody to the table that says, listen, you guys are effing up. And this is how it's affecting everyone. I need you guys to talk. And it's out of that mutual respect for that muscle that everybody sits down. The issue in this field is the anonymity in the YouTube like structure. And what I mean by that is the anonymity of somebody, for example, the chick that was in whoever that was pretending to be a woman in the stream earlier, talking about I talk too much, whatever. I talk too much crap, right? That level of anonymity has to be factored into any discussion. So there's a level of anonymity that allows people to come in and influence opinion. And if, for example, you take somebody who's not really strong-willed, they get one negative comment, they read it, they don't skim past it, they don't understand the position they're in, they don't briefly address it and then keep it moving. It gives them laser focus. Now you take that happening 1,000 times in a flag attack, it's used to keep people from coming to the table. So there's things that have to be factored in when you're trying to bring people to the table. But is it a necessity? Yeah, we need it in the community. We need it in the Bigfoot community. We need it in the Dogman community. And then there's some people that just need to fight, like straight up put on boxing gloves and just fight. You know what I'm saying? Just box it out, because it's majority men in the equations. You know what I'm saying? And some men just need to put on some gloves, box it out, hug each other, and be done with it. We just don't live in an environment, and a lot of these people don't come from environments where those kind of things happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it works. So yeah, it's necessary, but I don't see it working. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, Sean, I'm not sure who you are, but the simple fact that you mentioned that man, the name in my chat, that's one of those things to where it's one of those things to where I see it like this. I had my encounter with Brent and that whole crew. I went over and I addressed them and I talked to them, and then I made an agreement with them, and I ain't had no problems with them. They haven't had any problems with me. We chopped it up, but it's where you have to deal with issues. You know what I'm saying? I have a level of respect for them keeping their word. I assume they have a level of respect for me. I haven't heard them say anything crazy. But for example, let's say they did say something crazy. I would reach out to him offline and have a conversation with him. Hey man, let's talk. What's the deal? What's going on? What you call yourself upset about? Blah 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 blah. And I've done this over and over again. The conversation is not going to happen online originally. And that's some of the things that people have to do. Reach out to that person, talk to them. Now, if we can't talk offline and we can't squash it offline and you just want to talk at me, then we got to talk at each other to a certain extent. But even that has its place in the equation, because at the end of the day, um, there's goals that you have to achieve and things that you need to do, because you're responsible to your audience, and your responsibility is to your audience as opposed to just beefing out, going back and forth with someone. Your responsibility is to your family, and it's to your God. And so it's only so much back and forth you can do, at least for me. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's that serious, a lot of stuff, I don't see it as being that serious. If it's that serious, then there's no words to be said. Like if there's a real beef, you don't say nothing about it. It just is what it is. So I think a lot of times there's this conflation as to internet beef versus real beef. And so some things you don't need to say nothing about. Some things you keep quiet about. But people should talk to each other, and therein lies the problem. In my belief system, people need to have conversations, because most of the time, what I found is that these guys don't know each other. They don't know anything about each other, and as they get to know each other as men, they find things that they have in common and beliefs that they have in common, and then they can work out their issues. But you got to have a common ground to start with. Got to have some kind of foundation. All right. Whew. Man, this is a good JFR cigar. All right, Fisher Spam says, yeah, but tribalism sells, unfortunately. No, Fisher Spam, tribalism doesn't sell. It sells temporarily. Drama sells temporarily. You know what I'm saying? It really does. It sells for a moment. And then people get tired of it because they didn't come for that. They came for a product, which is you. You're the product in this environment. So it's one of those things where, yeah, for a moment it gets views. For a moment it gets attention. Then it gets old real fast. And that's how it goes, bro. Trust me, I done seen it all. I done been involved in all of it. And it's one of those things to where over time you get tired of it. People get tired of it. They want to hear what they want to hear. And all it does is turn people off. And that's all it does. So it doesn't benefit anyone. It'll never benefit anyone. Oh, okay, I got your fish spam. Dog water, would you say the veil is lifted and is completely gone regarding the supernatural paranormal effects in the masses? You would have to be crazy to say that either the veil has lifted. I still believe that during the years of 2020, 2021, when things got out of balance, like there's spiritual alignments in the spirit realm where and that, but I'm just gonna take just instead of stop beating around the bush, there's spiritual scales in the courts of heaven. And those scales can be tipped, and those scales weigh prayers versus non-prayers. They weigh prayers, good prayers versus prayers to evil forces. Like there was a time period where the scales tipped dramatically to the side of darkness. Fear reigned and ruled over the whole globe, um, and it had an iron grip on the entire planet. And if you notice, coming out of that is when you saw all the spike in paranormal videos, paranormal activity, all kinds of crazy stuff. If you just go to the Wayback Machine, um, and you go take a look at content prior to 2020, better yet, content prior to December 2019, to be specific, and then moving forward, you will see that there's a dramatic increase in the number of videos of just strange and crazy crap that people have caught. And it's utterly insane. I said it in 2020 because you could feel it in 2020. You could feel the grip of fear on everybody. And fear is the gateway to all kinds of other negative spiritual activity. That's why you see, that's why many people who have paranormal activity in their houses, it always starts with sleep paralysis. Because that's the first thing. You got to be brought into a constant state of fear. Once you're brought into that constant state of fear where you are afraid, it just opens up the floodgates for everything else that happens. But it starts with making you afraid. It starts with sleep paralysis. It starts with growling sounds. Next thing it moves to, I feel like I'm in my house being watched and something's looking at me at all times. And all that stuff is designed to drive a person to suicide. Most people don't go that far, but nonetheless, it all starts with fear. So fear is the gateway. So to answer your question, has the veil been, I think the veil was ripped. I mean, because that was all intentional. So it was just torn. It didn't lift. Somebody just said, screw this veil. I'm going to rip it open. You know what I'm saying? And now you see where it's starting to rebalance itself a lot, a whole hell of a lot. But that damage has already been done. You know what I'm saying? The damage has been done. I believe some things have been unleashed on this planet that we'll find out about later on down the road. And it'll be some terrifying, horrific things. Because you weren't catching videos of giants on the side of mountains in 2017, 2018. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't TikTokers going missing. If I'm not mistaken, there wasn't TikTokers going missing in 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15. There wasn't TikTok, but there wasn't YouTubers going missing. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. Philippines in the building. Man, maybe I can open this door now and let some of this smoke out of here, bro. Man, I'll tell you my most recent accomplishment I'm proud of. And then I'm gonna go. I believe that it all started happening when you started turning away from God. Or that, of course, anytime you turn away from God, something has to replace God. Um, Marlene, you're absolutely right. Um, I was able to get. I'm 46 years old. I was able to get my bench press back up to 315, which is savage in my opinion. Um, I mean, that's a savage bench press at that age. I'm trying to get my squats back up to where they need to be. The craziest thing about being older is everything hurts. Tendons hurts, ligaments hurt, and it just takes so long to recover. You take your youth for advantage. It just takes a lot longer to recover once you put that kind of stress on your body. It takes a hell of a lot longer. The recovery is very, very hard. So, like today, I'm getting ready to go get me some celery juices and to flush my body out and to replenish all the nutrients that leave from doing those kind of workouts, and supplement and do everything else I need to do to actually try and heal between now and Monday and get it together. Because it's a boy, it's a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a bad thing. All right, any more questions before I roll? Um, King Perez says he's getting back into it in 2 months. I have to pass my NASM. I don't know what that is. Exam. Yeah, you're right, bro. You feel stuff at 50 that you didn't know you had when you worked out. Yeah, bro. You feel muscles that you didn't know you have. Like yesterday, we were doing some combatives training, and we were doing uh getting out of chokeholds when somebody trying to put you to sleep. And I'm going through the motion, and a muscle that I pulled, bro, I didn't even know that muscle existed, but I felt it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, whoa, what is that? And it's just one of those things, man. As you get older, you feel everything. You can feel everything. That's why I stopped training combatives with my sons, because they just beat me up. I'm good for about a good 4 minutes. I can go with you, but we get to 5 minutes wrestling and tussling. Nah, bro, get off me. Get away from me. I'm gonna have to do all my damage to you in the first 60 to 80 seconds. Outside of that, you might get me. All right, for all the time you put into all your work thing. Nah, thank you, man. I put a lot of time and energy into what I do because I appreciate you guys, and I want you to experience what I experience. I mean, it really is. It's a whole nother world when you sit there and talk to an eyewitness, and as they're talking to you about an entity that they deal with in their house. Like you're sitting outside smoking a cigar, you're talking in the night, and then the whole mood changes outside to where it's like, holy crap, what you're talking about is trying to come here because you feel it. And I want you guys to safely feel that, without things actually coming to you. Like I've had a couple of very, 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 very powerful entity stories recently that I think I'm gonna do one of them. I'm trying to figure out how to safely do it, um, because this person I was talking to, I've never experienced anything like this before. I'm talking to them, and I have an Android phone. And you know, on those Android phones, your screen when you're talking to someone is blue. Well, I'm talking to him on speakerphone, smoking a cigar, looking at the phone, and my phone literally starts pressing buttons and moving in my hand. I got one hand on a cigar, the phone is in the palm of my hand. It starts moving around, like you see, like flashing up, pressing hang up call, press um add call, doing all this stuff on the phone, but none of it's actually doing it. It's like something's there right next to me pressing the buttons, trying to make it hang up the call, trying to get the phone call to go off, but it can't. The phone is not responding to what it's doing. It's hard to explain, but the phone is, something's pressing stuff on my phone. I'm sitting there like, look at this foolishness. And I didn't even say anything to him. I was like, yeah, what you're dealing with is very, very real and very, very powerful. And then I rebuked it in the name of Jesus Christ, and it stopped. But I was just like, whoa, that's insane. But that's a physical manifestation from having a conversation with someone on the phone, which I've talked to you guys about that plenty of times, um, over the years. So I try to um, I try to capture that in a safe story format for you. And so that's what I want you to experience. I want you to experience what I experience. I want you to feel it, but I don't want you to go through some of the things that I go through. Please consider 30 minutes a week to talk about anything and everything from your amazing brain. Uh yeah, I was going to do that with members where we just talk about every topic, every subject, um, and then go into whatever people want to go into. I tell you something you guys should look at as the Dark Waters family. Go to um, go over to YouTube, and you want to see some freaky stuff. Go to YouTube and look into the artificial intelligence models that are there that you can use for research of topics, um, and start asking some of those things questions about topics, and start chunking down on those things. Man, some of the stuff that comes from those are terrifying. I mean, literally and utterly terrifying. You become a member by going to iamdarkwaters.com and then click the you'll see a button in the middle of the screen. Click that, it'll take you to the website. Scroll down a little bit and you can see where you can sign up and become a member. Oh, also, I didn't say this for all the people who were members. And I probably need to get off of here and fix this. Let me see if this guy emailed me back. Refresh. Boom, 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 boom. He hasn't emailed me back yet and gave me the green light. For all of you who were members that got agitated and aggravated because you couldn't get there, I do have a list of you guys. Once this is completely solved, there'll be an email goes out to you with a coupon for you to come back in at the price that you were at, plus an incentive that's involved in it for you. So I understand it's agitating and aggravating to not have access to something that you're paying for. And some people just, they didn't stick with me. Now, for those of you who stuck with me, that's a whole nother story. And if you stuck with me, soon as you get in the system, I need you to update your address, because those are the people who was ride or die. And those are the people that I'm going to spend a little bit of that bread on to make sure they are thoroughly appreciated and understand that they're appreciated. All right. Neuralink scares the hell out of me. I'm only one Sundays away from getting canceled on a good day. And that's without other people in my head. Yeah, Neuralink is kind of frightening. If I'm not mistaken, Mr. B said that he would be the first person to get Neuralink because he figured it would connect him to all the information on the internet and he could use it to make money. And all I can say is I ain't screwing with no Neuralink. I don't need. I have enough in my head that I have to keep track of. You know what I'm saying? And if you like me, you have enough crap in your brain that you need to take care of, to where you don't need to be rolling around. To where you don't need to be rolling around trying to keep track with massive amounts of information from all over the place. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. Is there a way of joining through PayPal? My PayPal doesn't. I'm working on that as well. That after I fix this, the next thing is there's 2 more platforms that I'm going to bring on for payments, because a lot of people don't want to mess with PayPal because of what they did. Stripe is one that's kind of set up, but again, I need these developers to set it up because I don't believe in touching stuff again. There's another one called Ulink that's coming through that'll let you use another payment method. And if you want to move off PayPal, then I'll send you the code for you to get back in. But I need to make sure these people get in that's been sitting out there for a while. All right, peace out, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I'm about to go grab me another cigar because I'm tired of smoking nubs, and then I'm finna hammer away and get this done. And if you have any of the books, they'll be getting updates today as well. So check it out. I love each and every one of you guys. I appreciate. Wait. Before we go, let's address the person's mother who was in the hospital. Where did that go? Excuse me. Don't see it. That's okay. We'll do a prayer. Father God in heaven, we thank you for another beautiful day. I thank you for each and every person that's come on to listen to the words of my voice, and every person that will hear my voice moving forward. I thank you for the trust that you've given into me as a builder of your altar, as your king and your priest. I come before you asking that you intercede on behalf of this person's mother as she lays in the hospital bed. Strengthen the mind of the doctor. Steady their hands. And inject ideas and concepts into their minds that they may have not thought of, to not only help with this operation, but to help with the cure of the cancer in her body, because there is no sickness in the body of Christ, because there's no sickness in you, Father. I plead the blood of Jesus Christ over the sins of her and their entire bloodline, anything that gave leverage to the cancer to come into her body. And I ask that you heal her according to your word. All these things we ask by the power of the blood of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, cigar time. I love y'all. And I'll catch up with y'all later. Peace.